Now at 10 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, Victoria Police search for a dangerous suspect wanted for murder.
The new owners of Yorktown Memorial Hospital face a city shutdown, how they're responding and what it means for the hospital's future.
Plus, a boil water notice disrupts daily life for one Crossroads city.
We're looking at the Pacific coast of Baja California, where Hurricane Lorena is going to be taking a turn, rolling into the deserts and rolling into Texas. We'll have all that coming up.
And their Ferrier Bobcats battle the London Pirates tomorrow night at 7 p.m. in Corpus. Preview tomorrow's game later on in sports.
You're watching 25 News now at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Shauna Curry.
And I'm Don Brubaker.
We start tonight with some breaking news out of southern Victoria County. Multiple fire crews are on the scene of a brush fire in the McFadden area near U.S. Highway 77 South. Apparently these were started by lightning strikes during the storm earlier, and they are working to contain this along with state emergency crews as well. But the fire department is saying this will be an extended event. So we'll be monitoring this and bring you any updates as they're available.
And we plan to have more on our website, crossroadstoday.com. A warrant was issued for a murder suspect in connection to a weekend shooting on Lone Tree Road. Victoria police say 31-year-old Charles Brazil is wanted in connection to the death of Tyler Gomez. Anyone with information on Brazil's whereabouts should contact Victoria Crime Stoppers at 361-572-4200, available 24 hours a day, and callers can remain anonymous. The Texas Department of Criminal Justice is looking for a parolee who once lived in Victoria. A warrant is out for Lamar Sterling after officials say he failed to follow the terms of his supervision. Sterling was released after serving time on a conviction. If you know where he is, call 1-866-680-6667.
Bond is set at $1 million for the man accused of shooting and killing an 11-year-old boy in East Houston Saturday night. Authorities say Julian Guzman was playing ding-dong ditch with his cousin when he was shot in the back by 42-year-old Gonzalo Leon Jr. Guzman later died at the hospital. The judge set a high bond because more serious charges, including capital murder, could be added. If convicted on the current murder charge, Leon faces 5 to 99 years in prison. A capital murder conviction could mean life behind bars. A $1,000 reward is being offered for information that leads to the arrest and conviction of whoever scattered screws and nails along Lane Road in Calhoun County this morning. The debris stretched from Highway 185 to Charlie's Bait Camp. Precinct 4 crews used magnets and other equipment to pick up as much as they could. Anyone with information should contact the Calhoun County Sheriff's Office. A Crossroads landmark with a chilling past is now at the center of a heated dispute.
25 News Now weekend anchor Amaya Norman joins us to explain what's at stake. Amaya?
Yorktown Memorial Hospital, a popular site for ghost tours and paranormal investigations, may be shutting down. City officials say the property isn't safe for public events, but the owners insist the city has no right to call the shots.
Originally opened in the early 1950s, and it was run by the Roman Catholic Church, specifically the Felician Sisters of the Roman Catholic Church. So it was run by nuns.
Yorktown Memorial Hospital changed hands just 2 months ago, but the new owners, Curious Twins at Paranormal and Ghost Tours, got a surprise.
So we just didn't even know where to begin, with the city, how to work through this. The city was just like, we're going to post this on our Facebook. We're going to close everything down. You can't have your event there this weekend. We cooperated with them.
Stephen and Fred Guzman says what the city of Yorktown is doing is unlawful. They were issued a notice stating the property is unsafe and must be closed to the public.
So at this point, that's what we're doing. We're working with the legal system. Yorktown has not replied to us. They have not set a meeting, even though we were welcome to have a meeting.
They point out that Yorktown Memorial is a private property, not a public facility. They say it has never been open to the public in a traditional sense, but instead has been used more as a private institute focused on research and education.
This is not necessarily a fight that we want to fight. It's just a fight that we have to fight because that history is important to tell. And and we're going to do our best to make sure the community knows its history and knows its roots.
Despite the setback, the Guzmans say they're cooperating with officials, taking steps to meet safety standards while continuing to share the hospital's history. The owners have now shifted to a membership-only model, meaning anyone who wants to tour the hospital must first register as a member. We also reached out to the city of Yorktown for a statement, but their response was no comment at this time. Shauna and Don, back to you.
Amaya, thank you. One of the top 10 favorite buildings in Texas is in the Crossroads. The Texas 10 podcast picked Presidio La Bahia and Goliad as number 8 on the list. Presidio La Bahia was built in 1749 after moving from an earlier site in Victoria. At the Presidio on Palm Sunday, March 27, 1836, Mexican troops executed Colonel James Fannin and nearly 400 surrendered soldiers in what became known as the Goliad Massacre. The Alamo ranked first on the list of top 10 favorite buildings in Texas.
The La Bahia is said to be haunted as well.
That's
coming up on Halloween.
Spooktacular.
Spectacular. Well, do we have a spooky weather forecast? That's the question.
Well, we got spooked by some rain in between the 5 p.m. and the 6 p.m. shows today, Mac.
Right at 5 o'clock, that thing came right down Navarro Street and gave us a good almost half an inch of rain. So hopefully your windows were closed. But now the focus goes to the other side of the continent. Right here is the west coast, the Pacific Ocean. You can see right there. And this storm, which is Lorena, is going to be turning to the right. Okay, that means it's going to be rolling into the desert southwest, producing very heavy rain for southern Arizona, New Mexico, West Texas, and eventually us. Yes. And it could be a significant rain event beginning on Sunday. We'll have all the details on what to expect and when it starts coming up in just a moment. Back to you.
Thank you, Mac. A new Texas law is cracking down on misleading solar panel sales. Residential solar companies cannot make false claims about cost or performance, and every contract must give homeowners 5 business days to cancel. The law that went into effect on Monday also bans companies from pretending they're tied to utilities or government agencies, and they cannot knock on doors with no soliciting signs. The Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation will now oversee solar sales. Here's your viewer poll tonight. Have you or someone you know ever been misled by a solar company? Overwhelmingly 60% of our voters say no, they have never known anyone misled by a solar company. We want to hear from you. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part, and we thank you for voting.
There was an empty seat at Calhoun County Commissioner's Court this morning, a tribute to Precinct 1 Commissioner David Hall, who passed away Tuesday in his sleep. An autopsy has been ordered to learn more. Hall took office in 2017 after retiring as a deputy with the Calhoun County Sheriff's Office. In his 26 years in Calhoun County, he poured his energy into projects that make a difference, from centralized dispatch to fighting beach erosion to improving local playgrounds.
It leaves a big void, a big hole in our county and in the Coastal Bend area and the state, because he was known throughout the state for the many grants that he got for our county.
This has been a tough one. David was one of the best men I know. I've known him for probably over 20 years. When he was on the Sheriff's Department, and after becoming commissioner and sitting next to him on this court, I got really close with him.
Commissioner Hall was 54 years old. He leaves behind a wife and children. And Governor Abbott has ordered Texas and U.S. flags in Calhoun County to be flown at half staff in honor of the life and service of Commissioner Hall. Flags should return to full staff at sunset on the day of his memorial service or interment, once that is set by his family. Flags in the surrounding areas may be flown at half staff as well during the same period as a sign of honor and respect. The city of Yoakum is under a boil water notice tonight, their first since 2021.
25 News Now reporter Ray Mosley talked with the Yoakum Public Works Director.
Yoakum is under a boil water notice due to a pipeline that broke underground. The city of Yoakum's public water system water pressure dropped below 20 pounds per square inch. TCEQ has required the city of Yoakum's public water system to notify all residents to boil their water for 10 minutes before drinking or cooking with it. Director of Public Works Victor Gomez says it's safe to shower with the water, but if need be, you can use a bottled water or any other suitable source.
It's challenging for everybody, but with time and the good water crew that we have here, they are accepting that challenge and they're doing the best that they can. It's just a matter of time.
Gomez says both water sites are monitored daily and is hoping to lift the boil water notice soon. Gomez plans to flush out the hydrants and send samples back to Victoria to ensure that the water is safe to drink. Reporting in Lavaca County, Ray Mosley, KAVU TV, 25 News Now.
The city of Cuero is proposing a property tax rate of 30.675 cents per $100 of property value for 2025. That is higher than last year's no new revenue rate, which means property taxes are expected to go up. But the rate is still below the level that would require a voter election. For the average home in Cuero, that works out to about $485, up roughly $45 from last year. City leaders will hold a public hearing on the proposed tax rate on Monday, September 8th at 5 p.m. in the council chambers. Residents can attend or contact the city council to share their thoughts.
A major federal case is unfolding in Texas. A judge in Fort Worth heard from families who lost loved ones in 2 Boeing 737 MAX crashes.
The families are seeking criminal prosecution. Briseida Holguin has details.
I would first need them to see what they've done, to look us straight in the eye and see the devastation that they have caused to all our families, and to look at the photographs, because this is all we have left.
Over a dozen families who lost loved ones in 2 Boeing 737 MAX crashes spoke in court today. They are fighting against the U.S. government's motion to dismiss a felony conspiracy charge against Boeing in connection to the deadly crashes. The lead attorney representing 14 of the victims' families says he wants the judge to appoint a special prosecutor to take the case to trial.
Boeing shouldn't be able to buy its way out of accountability, and they should be forced to stand trial.
The 2018 and 2019 crashes killed 346 people. Prosecutors charged Boeing with conspiracy to commit fraud, accusing the company of misleading regulators about a flight control system linked to the crashes. Boeing decided to plead guilty last year instead of going to trial, but Judge Reed O'Connor rejected the deal, forcing the company and the Justice Department to renegotiate. The new agreement would dismiss the charges if Boeing pays $1.1 billion, compensates families, and makes internal safety changes. Families of victims say this lets Boeing buy its way out of accountability.
If these people have any heart or any conscience, they should walk away from having met with us, having spoken to us, having spent, listened to us, and decide that the way we do things is not the way it should be done. We need to turn this company around and we need to do things differently, because people's lives matter, safety matters, and that's what they have to prioritize, not profit.
The 2018 Lion Air crash and a crash of an Ethiopian Airlines flight in 2019 killed a total of 346 people. Here are some of the top headlines in the Cuero Record. Cuero police investigate downtown vandalism, and DeWitt County 4-H hosts an awards banquet. To read these stories and more, visit DeWittCountyToday.com.
And your news, weather, and sports are streaming 24/7 at CrossroadsToday.com. Stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 10, a new nasal spray shows promising virus protection, how researchers say it works, but why experts advise caution.
Also ahead, children and teens often get headaches, what causes them, and how parents can spot warning signs.
soda could mess with your memory. A new study out of Brazil found that people who consumed the most artificial sweeteners, about 1 can a day, showed faster cognitive decline than those who had the least. That's the equivalent of speeding up brain aging by more than a year and a half. Researchers looked at sweeteners like aspartame, saccharin, xylitol, and sorbitol. Interesting though, tagatose was the only one not linked to memory problems. Those findings were just published in the journal Neurology. Florida plans to end vaccine mandates statewide, including for school children. U.S. exemption rates had been rising for years, but in the 2024-25 school year, a record share of incoming kindergartners skipped the required shots.
This move would make Florida the first state to end a long-standing and constitutionally upheld practice of requiring certain vaccines for school students. Sherelle Hubbard has the details.
The Florida Department of Health, in partnership with the governor, is going to be working to end all vaccine mandates in Florida law. All of them. All of them.
Florida Surgeon General Joseph Ladapo announcing Wednesday that Florida is planning to end vaccine mandates statewide. This would make Florida the first state to end the long-standing practice of requiring certain vaccines for school students.
In Florida, you have the right to be free. You have the right to make your own decisions. You can participate in society without having these unscientific dictates imposed upon you.
The announcement swiftly met with concern from health experts. The Florida chapter of the American Academy of Pediatrics saying in a statement, this will put children in Florida public schools at higher risk for getting sick, which will have a ripple effect across our communities. Florida Surgeon General making the case that vaccination should be an individual choice.
That is a moral, ethical universe, not this nonsense where people who don't know you are telling you what to put in your temple.
But health experts contend that freedom of choice has the potential to impact others.
We saw the measles outbreak this year, more cases than we've seen in 30 years, over 1,400 people sick, many hospitalized, and unfortunately some people that passed. We can decrease these by kids getting vaccinated.
I'm Sherelle Hubbard reporting.
All 50 states have had school immunization requirements since the 1980s for diseases including measles, polio, and tetanus.
All states allow medical exemptions, and most also allow for exemptions due to personal or religious beliefs. An over-the-counter nasal spray could prevent COVID, according to a new study. A study showed that people who took the spray, which is called antihistamine azalistine, over 2 months had lowered infection rates. The lower infection rates included for the flu, RSV, as well as the COVID virus. Authors of the study still say the nasal spray should not be a replacement for the vaccines, and the study was made up of young and healthy patients, but the results still show a positive breakthrough. The Texas Senate on Tuesday evening tentatively approved a bill that would allow private citizens to sue anyone who manufactures, distributes, mails, or provides abortion medication to or from Texas. To read this full Texas Tribune article, come to crossroadstoday.com.
Here are some of the top headlines in the Port Lavaca wave. Calhoun County Commissioners partner with Seadrift for infrastructure repair, and the Port Lavaca City Council look toward the future, discussing the city's 2026 comprehensive plan. To read these stories and more, go to portlavacawave.com.
Well, kids get headaches all the time, and they're not always harmless.
Right. ABC's Christiane Cordero explains what JAMA Pediatrics says about when parents should call the doctor.
Headaches are common in kids and teens and are often caused by stress, poor sleep, dehydration, or bad posture. But not all headaches are the same. Doctors diagnose them as either primary or secondary. Primary headaches, like tension headaches and migraines, are the most common and not caused by another health issue. A tension headache feels like a dull, pressing pain. A migraine is similar but much stronger. A primary headache can often be managed with rest, hydration, stress relief, and over-the-counter medicine like ibuprofen. But if they keep happening, talk to your child's doctor. Secondary headaches are more serious and may be a sign of an underlying condition. Watch out for red flags like changes in vision or behavior, seizures, fever, numbness, or if the headache happens after a head injury or wakes your child from sleep. In those cases, seek medical attention right away. Most headaches aren't serious, but knowing when to get help can make all the difference. With this Medical Minute, I'm Christiane Cordero.
Texas A&M University Victoria is bringing the community together for JAGFest. It's at De Leon Plaza tomorrow evening from 6 to 9. The community can enjoy live music, food, and fun with a performance by the Stout Brothers. University leaders will give remarks at 7.
Well, good evening, everybody. We've got good weather for that JAGFest tomorrow night. Today, well, we had a little pop-up surprise thunderstorm. We were watching it roll in, and there it came. Right now, we're at 76 degrees, though. It's very comfortable because of that little rain. We managed to get up to 100 degrees this afternoon, and only 0.06 of an inch of rain actually fell at the airport. At Riverside Park, we've got 4,800, so about a half an inch around the area. I don't expect rain tomorrow nor Friday, but boy, it's going to be real complicated for the weekend. We'll talk more about that coming up after this. Well, good evening, everybody. I want to show you the little thunder shower that came right through the city. Here is Victoria. Let me zoom in a little bit. And you can see the storm went right down the highway all the way down to Port Lavaca. So it was nice to get a little rain. I know some of you were surprised by it. We tracked it from the Cuero area, and it went all the way down. But that is over with right now, as it'll be a nice evening, courtesy of that rain cooling. Now we're looking tomorrow. Look at these temperatures. 100 degrees for us, 104 in Cuero, 105 out in Pleasanton. It's going to be a tough day. If you got to be outdoors, do whatever you can to try and stay cool. This is the Atlantic, and in the Atlantic we have the potential of this development here. This is not a easterly wave yet, but the computer models do have a storm developing here. It would be Gabrielle. At this time, it looks like only the Caribbean has to watch out, because after that, it's going to make that turn. But obviously, they're going to have to watch that carefully. It's not often that we have to look at the Pacific Ocean for tropical weather, but that's what's happening this year. Normally, this is Kiko. Normally, they develop out here and they roll out into the middle of the Pacific. But Lorena has decided to do it differently. Yep, let's zoom in and see what she's doing. Already past Cabo San Lucas, and Cabo San Lucas did get a pile of rain, and they've got all kinds of flash flooding occurring right about there, but that is now past that area, and you can see the center of the storm out here in the Pacific. Right now, it's about to expect to turn in. Now, tomorrow being Thursday, on Friday is when it's expected to move ashore, and as it moves ashore, the storm itself is going to fall apart. What we're talking about is all the remnant moisture. You take that moisture and you put it in a hot environment like the desert, it's going to pop up, and we're going to get some shower activity. So, of all places, Hermosillo, Mexico, and the Sonoran Desert are going to be getting tremendous rainfall over the next few days as the storm basically takes a right turn and moves across the desert. Southern Arizona, possibly 2 inches of rain. Southern New Mexico, El Paso, about 2 inches of rain. And then the interesting part is that it sort of goes up and then over and then comes down. So places like West Texas are going to be looking at quite a bit of rain, as will the hill country, as will our area, because not only is the remnants of the storm, but we've got this little frontal system dropping down to be, shall we say, further enhancing the rain chance. So here again is the storm system. Next 4 or 5 days, you can see it crossing over. I mean, I'm not saying the storm is going to be here. Let's get that straight. I'm saying the remnant moisture will be triggering the shower activity from that system over the next 4 or 5 days. So when does it get here? That's the big important part. I don't think it'll be here even on Saturday. I think it'll be arriving Saturday, but we'll be watching it out west as it moves across West Texas. Tomorrow, 102 in Cuero. Yeah, hot. And it's hot, and then it's a transition day on Saturday. Sunday, Monday, we've got alert days because heavy rainfall is expected. Right now, it looks like about 2 to 3 inches, and if we get it all at one time, well, that could be a problem. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that and put Crossroads Today on your phone. And for Friday night, though, we've got it all covered. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be warm, but I don't expect any rain Friday night for the football games. Max, over to you.
That's great to hear there, Mac. And Friday, we got one of those battles between the Sinton Pirates there and the Calhoun Sand Crabs there in Week 2. We'll highlight this matchup coming up in sports. This week we've highlighted multiple top matchups here for Week 2 with announcing our game of the week between Victoria West Warriors and the Victoria East Titans. But another top game we're watching, also going to happen here on this Friday now, will be the Sinton Pirates out of the Corpus area. They're traveling out to Calhoun, face the Sand Crabs, which will have their home opener in their first home game for new head coach Stephen Herntzer out there in Sand Crab Stadium in Calhoun. Looking to respond after a hard-fought loss there last week to Yoakum 23-16. With this in mind, Calhoun brought in a new quarterback last week in Ashton Sternal. He looked okay, a little bit nervous when he started, but he's going to be looking for star offensive player in Isaiah Cabrills and senior running back Holton Hadley for the Sand Crabs offense. Now for the defense, they need to slow down a top rushing attack for Sinton because they're led by running back Micah Green. He ran for 223 rushing yards last week there at BCVille. And so can they stop him and get the offense going? We'll see there this Friday. Now earlier today I talked with Calhoun head coach there in Stephen Herntzer, and he kind of highlighted to me about what they felt from Week 1 and again from district play. So if you want to hear the full conversation I had with him for our CFL podcast Week 2, just go to Spotify or click the link below and go to Crossroads Today Facebook or Twitter pages. See all the access for the CFL podcast each and every week. Now over to Thursday Night Football, where we have top-ranked Refugio Bobcats in the 2A air. They're going to travel down to London there tomorrow night. The Bobcats last week beat Cotulla Cowboys 48-6. And they had big production. Running back Xander Wills, who had 16 carries, 169 yards, and 4 touchdowns. But also for London, they got a top running back as well in Jay Castaneda. He had 16 carries, 148 yards, and 2 touchdowns in their 28-21 victory over Bishop. So both teams going to rely on that rushing game. It's going to be which defense can stop the run there tomorrow night. Over to some quick volleyball scores where Cora Lady Gobblers lost in a 3-set there at home versus the Cal Allen Wildcats. And they're hoping to turn around because they're off here this Friday, but they'll be back in action versus the Flyers at home next Tuesday night. Over to Industrial, they had traveled over to Rockport, and it was in a 5-set thriller. They would lose though to Rockport. So still Carly Stanish in the loss, had 24 kills, and the Cobras are going to be traveling to Victoria East this Friday night. That game's going to start at 4:30 p.m. Over to Texas A&M Victoria, where they'll officially wear the new A&M Victoria jerseys for the first time in school history this Friday afternoon. At First Nelson University, the women's team will kick off at 1 p.m. The men's team will follow at 3:30 p.m. So both teams looking to respond after they took Game 1 loss to Oklahoma City, where the women's team lost 3-0 and the men's team lost 5-0. We'll see how both groups do Friday afternoon. And quickly here, how about the Houston Astros? Got a big time win, 8-7 over the New York Yankees. They hung on there after the Yankees had a 3-run shot by Cody Bellinger. For the Astros, they're going to be back tomorrow at 6:40 p.m. They're on MLB Network. And that's going to do it here in sports. Don, Shauna, back to you.
All right, Max, thank you. And stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 10, we'll take a last look at your weather. Plus, singles are finding love in unexpected places. How running clubs may be replacing dating apps.
Watch tonight, or I dressed up for no reason.
The first thing I was asking about, I said, wait a minute, the long walk. How much walking do I do in this film?
Yeah, right, yeah.
None. I'm
yeah.
in a Jeep.
This Aries dance duo is now on the top of the tango world. Leandro Boico and Michaela Garcia took home the title of World Tango Champions, winning the stage category at the iconic Grand Rex Theater. The championship capped off the Tango Ba Festival, the largest tango gathering in the world, with more than 500 events, 2,000 artists and dancers from over 50 countries.
Tomorrow's National Wildlife Day, for example, that animal, and you don't have to be in the wild to observe it. The day is meant to boost awareness about species around the world, but also the ones right around us. There are lots of ways to get involved right in your own community. Zoos, aviaries, and marine sanctuaries offer a variety of options at the local level. Boy, that's, hey, slow down, okay? Slow down.
It's going pretty quick.
Yeah, they're really getting after it there. Now, will the animals be getting some rain tomorrow?
The animals will be under a tree trying to get out of the sun because it's going to be so hot. Looking for a high tomorrow of 100 degrees, can you believe it? Well, good. The good news is that we're in September. This can't last much longer. Of course, the big story is that the moisture rolls in from that tropical storm on the west coast, or the other side on the Pacific. And right now, Sunday, Monday look like the stormiest days at this time. We could see some significant rainfall. And because we've had rain fairly recently, we're a little saturated. So we may see some flooding on Monday. And all I want you to do is just start planning what happens on Sunday when you can't go out. You know, I mean, it's going to be that, I think it's going to be an all-day washout.
Wow, okay.
Well, talk about love on the run. Singles are swapping dating apps for running shoes. Across the country, more people are joining running clubs, not just for fitness, but to meet potential partners. Take New Yorkers Karong and Caleb. They met at their weekly run club and bonded over chicken fingers at the post-run hangout. Experts say it makes sense. You meet new people, share challenges, and there's no pressure. Friendships come first, romance comes later if the sparks fly. I don't know. Or you could just speed up your run if you decide you're not so into the person. I don't know.
We'll see what happens in the long run.
Thanks for joining us tonight.
Jamaican Alive starts now.